Oh, hell. Welcome to the 24th episode of the Chambler build series. I'm going to get the tubes fitted to support from the Cherokee chassis, the Rambler body in this episode. And also I get to find some more interesting cover panels and extreme amounts of damage in weird spots. Without further ado, let's get to it. Let's get to it. I'm trying to work out the length and where I'm going to position the tubing going from the frame to the rockers. These bead rolls are going to become a problem, so I have to figure out if I'm going to flatten them or put a piece of plate on top of the tubing. Not quite sure yet. I'm going to have to actually cut one piece, see where I'm at, see what it looks like, and then I'll start measuring. I'm going to either put 3 or 4 on each side. Then I'll reveal the new tool. I spent a month looking for one of these on the used market and had zero luck, so I ended up having to buy one. And the big reveal is stuck to this unit, a chop saw. I've needed one, like I said, couldn't find one used. Cutting up that tubing, I want it to be as accurate as possible, so chop saw time. The bag was just to keep all the dust and grinding junk off it, which I'm glad I did because there's a lot in that bag. Well, let's see how those Scotch-Brite pads do on a fairly normal, or what at least I hope is a fairly normal piece of tubing with the mill scale. Much better. Yeah, that was no problem. So, get to chopping it. Put the circuit on my toolbox. Try this again. Well, let's see how I did. Well, unfortunately, I'm going to have to move this. I'm using this as a gauge of how far back I'm going from a certain point. I should be able to pick off on both sides of the frame. The frame on the Cherokee goes at an angle, so I'm going to have to account for that. I have to trim it. There's definitely going to have to be some persuasion used to get it to fit. It should be nice and tight. So that's what I want. Hey, look at that. I'm going to have to do things to adjust everything. Little things here and there, but that is basically what I'm after. Something nice and strong to go from the Cherokee to the Rambler. And verifying where to put the support tubes, I had to put a little something in the interior. Namely the driver's seat. That actually looks kind of funny, but actually makes me feel like maybe I'm getting somewhere. Let's see how many times I can say maybe. Let's see how she sits. I do have a jack supporting the back outer leg, so it should hold the seat up. I'm not going to sit on it. I just need to sit in it. It's almost like I should have repositioned the camera. It's almost like I'm driving the car. Holy crap. It's not bad. I'm up fairly high. Part of that's from the riser. The roof is also different height from the Cherokee as far as I can tell. Not a lot, but enough. There isn't much headroom in the Cherokee either, which would be easier to tell if I'd moved the camera so you could see my head. Worry about that later. What I'm likely going to do is come in and slice this front ear off these brackets and make a hat section and bolt this straight down and put a brace up underneath and connect it somehow. I'll figure that out later. As long as it's strong, it's good. So that will drop the seat down a little bit. The seat also would go out a small amount, not a lot, but I'm over it in the middle a little bit. This is fun. I don't want to damage anything. I know that's kind of a funny statement because this car is just one big damage, but I don't want to have to repair anything else. And I'm pretty much not about as much room as in a Cherokee, actually, because I almost hit the top of a Cherokee. I need to have room for a helmet for Sykeston. The seat will be down a little bit. That is the seat lined up with the factory rear holes that mount it. It's definitely at an angle, but that could be the way this whole thing is just so monkeyed up. I can at least get bars into position and figure out where I need to put them, which is the big thing. The seat's coming back out now. Well, after you do a few more measurements. Like I was saying, there would have been a hat section here that ran across over the tunnel. That's where these would have mounted. I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do. I do think the seat needs to have a bit of a tilt back to it on the bottom. I'll check it in some other Cherokee and see what I can figure out. This is what the seat looks like from the bottom. We're looking at it from the front of the seat. I'll try to figure out how I'm going to incorporate some of this stuff and maybe take some measurements. So this is the outer edge of the seats. That's where the frame is. So this tube would be on the bottom side, of course, but it would be basically there. And I could put a bolt up through and secure this side of the front seat, or the front of the seat. Then I have to figure out what's over here. That means I'm gonna have to remove this patch. I gotta figure out what he tore up here. In case you missed the hot rivet action in the previous videos, I'll link them above. I'm gonna do it real quick here, pull this off, and let's see what's hiding. Yeah, oh, it almost went right in my teeth. Oh, hell. Oh, boy. Okay. Well, holy sh... Oh, hell, I wish I'd left that alone. This sucks. There's no other way to put it, but this sucks. Thankfully, and it's a small thankfully, I can do that once I've got the outer floor structure in. I'll have to wait to make the hat section anyway. This is just very frustrating. Oh yeah, and this outer rear seat bolt is gonna have to get sliced off at the bottom. I'm gonna have to knock whatever's remaining of it down. I'll use a nut and a big washer to secure it from the bottom, but I can't deal with that. I need that to mount the seat. So get that from the bottom side up. Needless to say, the bolt is out. Hate death wheels. I pulled both seats out and I figured I might as well see what's hidden behind all these little patch panels on the passenger side. So here we go. Oh, a tear and a hole. Just a hole. A really big tear. Oh, boy. Oh, Jesus. Oh, a giant rusted hole. Whoa, Jesus. Visual demonstration. Yeah, I can stick my finger in most of these. Not this, though. That little panel was covering just a little bitty hole. Some of this I will definitely have to fix because the hat section is going to come up here for the seat. So that's why, like on the driver's side, these giant tears are here because I don't know, I'm trying real hard to be nice and don't know what he was thinking, don't know what his plan was, but this stuff's scary. And no, that's just that's down into earth. Yeah, I can see the exhaust from here. I'll reinforce these areas. Not sure how far I'll go with some of this stuff. It doesn't have to be pretty, it just has to be functional and safe. So it just means I have to put a much thicker coat of bed liner on it, I guess, when I do whatever I'm going to do for the interior. I'm on the passenger side. This is basically the location of this middle tube is going to be at on the bottom side. And there is a ton of damage around it. So likely what I'm going to do, because I also want to test and see if I cut just these sections out here of these beads, if it'll give me the space to actually push the tubing up. Hell, what I'm gonna end up doing is cutting as much of this damaged stuff out, and then I'll fine tune it as I need to. I had to move the tube back because I didn't realize just how bad this joint is where these two panels meet for the chassis for the Cherokee. So it's gonna be a little off of where that bolt is, but the hat section will take care of that. It's gonna be elevated anyway. And I can always make a plate off of this to strengthen it if I need to. I broke out the CAD machine again and made a couple things. I'm going to use this to check the other angles because some of these frame horns, the way that they roll is a little different in the front and towards the back. This is effectively going to become a test piece because I had to make sure, because they're all going to be a little different in length. They're close. It's only about a 1/16, a little less than a 1/16 off side to side, but there's still a lot of give and take, and nothing's 100% perfect on either car. So, progress. This is on the driver's side. You can see the lines where the tubing was marked out. I've got a position same as on the passenger side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut slits in those bead rolls and try to pound them flat. Give me the space I need. We'll see how that works. I decided to start with this back area because it had a lot of damage to it anyway. Allowed me to kind of get an idea of what sizing I needed. I want to leave these and weld this into the tubing here. It looks like I might be able to just pound these flat and attach them. We'll figure that out, but these holes and some of the other damage will definitely limit what I can do. I will show you as much as I can as I do this to this one. Sorry I couldn't show you too much more of this, but everything was extremely bouncy trying to do anything with this. And no real good place to put the camera. And that's basically how it's going to work. It's going to help. It looks bad because it is bad. But once I repair, replace, and rework everything, you'll still notice it, but you'll have to look pretty hard for it. And it will be strong. Sure. That's where the front tube's going to end up. I want to push it a bit farther forward towards the front of the rocker, but there's just no space. There's a couple issues. There's a body plug hidden under the heat insulation, and there's a couple things on the bottom of the frame I'll show you. Like I was saying, there's just too many things in the way. There's a hole, and there's this big tie-down hole, and that body plug is right here. I want to try to weld around that, so I'm just going to have to move it back. I'm going to go ahead and clean the heat insulation off, grind the area clean, cut it, and notch it for the tube. I liked it, the sound deadening / heat insulating stuff up with a scraper, because that stuff will instantly gum up saw blades and cut off wheels and grinding stones. So now that I've got 90% of the goo up, I'm gonna go ahead and grind it off. I just showed slicing of these bead rolls, and then I set them on the top like I did with the other ones, pound them flat. And this is exactly what I want. I should be able to weld it down around here on the inside. I'll figure out what I'm gonna do with the centerpiece. If I'm gonna cut it out, notch it. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with it yet. I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna do with the ones located under the seatbelt bolts, and I will go ahead and transfer all this stuff over to the passenger side. If I place this tube right here, it's going to catch just the edge of the seatbelt bolt, which should still be structurally sound. It'll allow me to miss a lot of this double reinforced area with all these extra beads. I would only have to really notch these two and pound them flat. I'll still have to likely address these where the floor meets, but I should just be able to simply pound this little section flat, and it should be just fine. I'm going to chamfer the edges of the inside of the Cherokee frame. Let's get them fit. This is awesome. All three of the driver's side braces are in. I'll show you some of the fitting on the passenger side as I go through it. Initial fit-up's always fun. I'm just doing the initial fit-up to get an idea of what I need to start trimming, because I have to trim from the bottom to the upper edge. Hopefully you heard that, because the mask kept moving right into my teeth, so. I'm going to trim a little bit off this back edge, and this should be a pretty dang close fit. Fingers crossed. Beautiful. I'm going to double check that these other two braces are in the right position, and then this should be good. I can start doing the next steps and getting everything prepped for my friend to come over. Thanks for watching the 24th episode of the Chambler build series. In the next episode, we'll get those tubes welded in, some other stuff fitted and ready to go. Getting closer and closer each time. I'm looking forward to this thing being done, at least done enough to roll around and get the final kind of look that I have and I want down with it. It's going to be a Baja style vehicle. At least as close as I can get to it, maybe a rally style, within reason and within budget, at least for this first go around. It's probably going to keep changing as things improve, my money flow improves, stuff like that. Like, share, and subscribe. I thank you all so much for watching. see you next week. I'll see you Thursday this week, and then I'll see you Tuesday. It's going to keep going like that until most of this metal work's done. See you later.